Hi there, today we're covering how to add vectors algebraically. Previously, we covered how to add them graphically. As a reminder, we can do this by simply lining them all up, head to tail, and the vector sum is the vector created from the first tail to the final head, as shown here. However, there are two big limitations to this process, the first being this really only works in 2 dimensions, and the second being it's not very accurate, especially if we have fractions or decimals in our vectors. Instead, we can add the vectors together algebraically by adding together the components of each of the vectors. So if we're given these 3 vectors and we want to know the vector sum, we simply need to add up the x and y components of all of the vectors. So starting with a, and then adding b, and finally adding c, we can simply solve for the final vector sum by adding each of these components together. Looking at a problem that would be impossible to graph because it has 4 dimensions and also difficult with the fractions, if we follow these same steps algebraically, we can easily add together the vector components and find the vector sum. Like adding vectors graphically, the commutative law and the associative law both apply to adding vectors algebraically as well.